Lesson 13, last problem on the front page here, number 5. And we have 4 expressions that have the value of negative 1/2. So you can see that they added these two to get negative 1/2, took away to get negative 1/2, multiplied, and divided. Our job is to write 5 expressions: a sum, a difference, a times, a quotient, product, and a quotient, that involve at least, and one, sorry, so we got to have 4, they're just those, and then one that involves 2 operations, and all having a value of negative 3/4. Okay, so let's start off with our sum. So let's have a plus problem that equals that. So let's go here, and let's say that we have a plus problem. And a plus problem that would equal negative 1/2. Alright, let's do this. Well, if you look what they did, I'm sorry, we gotta equal negative 3/4. Negative 3/4. So let's erase that. We gotta get negative 3/4. So negative 3/4 is a different story altogether. We gotta have 2 numbers that add up to that. Okay, so, well, they kind of did like 2/4 make a half. Well, what 2 things could you add together to get 3/4? Well, you could take a negative 1/4 and add to a negative 2/4, and that would do it. So there's a sum. And let's do another one. Let's do a subtraction. Okay, so we got to subtract and get there. So we got to subtract and get to negative 3/4. Let's see what that would look like. I don't know. Where could we start? If we started at negative 2/4, we'd only have to go back 1/4 to get there. So that would be 1. All right, we still need a multiplication. So let's see if we can get a multiplication one here. We got to have it equal negative 3/4. So negative 3/4 is what it has to equal. And this time we're multiplying. I think we should probably make it 2 fractions. So 2 numbers that multiply to equal 3. Let's go with, well, it's got to be negative. So let's do negative 1 times 3. And 2 numbers that multiply to equal 4. 2 and 2. So that works for me. Negative 1/2 times 3/2. And now a division. Well, I could get the same answer by using a fact that we've been using. I just got to flip that 3/2, right? So like if I divide 1/2 by the reciprocal of 3/2, 2/3, that would do it. Cool. So I got every one of them, but now I still got to do one that has 2 operations. So one that has 2 operations. Let's do add and then multiply. That's probably the easiest way to go, I think. So let's add something and then we'll multiply, or we can multiply and then add. Adding is pretty easy to work with. So let's multiply. I don't know. Let's do negative 1 multiplied by 1/2. That would give me negative 1/2. And then if I wanted to go like I did here, negative 1/2, I'd still have to subtract a 1/4. So I could add a negative 1/4. And that would equal negative 3/4. Because this would be negative 1/2 when you multiply. 1 times anything is itself, negative times a positive. And then these two, since they're both the same sign, you add them together. And 1/2 is just like a fancy, there's a simplified version of 2/4. So that makes sense, and that works, and it equals negative 3/4, just like we wanted it to. So I like that one. So I got 5 different equations, all equaling negative 3/4, and I like it. Finished with that problem.